Jordan, this is your Unit 5 Assignment B work, and I'm going to go through it in order to give you some feedback. You will notice that I've reorganised your work slightly in order to make it more efficient in terms of presentation. You'll need to update it in this format, please. Okay, so you identify access to facilities, personal injury, cost, time, commitment, motivation, and lack of interest as barriers to exercise, but you are missing another one, and that is emotional. So can you please add this one in? For each of your barriers you identify, you must make sure that you say exactly how they would stop somebody from exercising. Review your work and make sure you've made this really clear, describing in full and also giving good examples where you can. Your next slide details strategies that you could use in order to address barriers, overcome barriers. The idea of a strategy is to help you to create a workaround, to help you overcome. You've identified benefits, rewards, smarter, so goal setting, support and reinforcement, enjoyable activities, all as strategies that you could use in order to help you overcome exercise barriers. Again, make sure you give lots of detail about how each strategy would help you to overcome a barrier to exercise. So how would it help somebody stick with exercise? When it comes to the smarter targets, for example, make sure you talk about how you might make your goals specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, time-bound, exciting, recordable, etc. Again, for each one, lots of examples. So try and give a really good example for each one, because this will help you to describe and achieve. So this is the most important slide, and this is all about you and what barriers you are going to face and what strategies you're going to put in place in order to overcome them. So you've identified 4 barriers, which is great. Cost is your first barrier. Personal injury is your second one. Trust, we'll come back to that in a second. Interest, I think, is this loss of interest? Be clear. Okay, for this task, what you actually need to do is detail the barriers you're going to face, which you have, but before you move on to the strategy, i.e. saying how you're going to overcome them, you need to describe why each one is a barrier and how it stops you from doing exercise. Then, once you've done that, you can explain what strategies you're going to use in order to overcome. But be clear. For example, cost. For this barrier, I will overcome by asking my family. Well, you haven't explained why it's a barrier. You've just gone straight into the strategy of how you're going to overcome it. More detail required for both. Personal injury, again, you haven't explained what's wrong with you or what injury you have and why this would stop you from participating in exercise. Again, you'll overcome it by getting equipment that will help you in this area of injury. But I don't know what the area of injury is. Trust. I'll overcome this by learning to trust my belayers and not hesitate on going down the wall. Is trust a barrier? Is that confidence? Try and be as specific as possible. Again, why? Why is it an issue for you? How is it going to stop you from doing activity? And then talk about how you're going to overcome it. And loss of interest, number 4, again, how? Why do you have a loss of interest? What's the problem? Explain, describe, and then you can say how you're going to overcome it. If you can reorganise this piece of work and expand, this would be good. And then when you're done, save it and email me a copy.